Happy reading day. I've definitely had some questions from folks who are working toward meeting the 300 word count minimum goal for the independent reading response. So I just want to take a few minutes to talk about what are some ways that you can be sure that you are going to make that 300 word count in your reading log responses. And so once you pick a question from the prompts, and you should pick, you should try to pick a different question when you can each week, but you also can repeat questions sometimes. You don't want to do the same question every week, but some repeat when it makes sense for what you read, or it's totally fine. But in your response to the question, here are some ways that you can meet that 300 word count. First of all, you can do a summary and response, right? So this relates to what happened in my book. Then talk for a few sentences about what happened, and then relate that back to the question, and even add a personal response. You can also do a quote response, right? So this would be a moment where you pull a quote right from the text and you include it in response to the question. Response. And then you would, after your quote, you would say what this shows, or this suggests, or I infer from this, and then write for a bit, and write some more sentences. And this relates to my question because this, and you could even follow that with this resonates with me because, or maybe this is hard for me to understand, right? So adding some personal response in there, as well as just the summary and quote response and the responding to the question, thinking about it not as just factually answering a question, but really elaborating and writing. You could give a summary and a connection, which would be what I was just talking about, like summarize what happens in your story, then talk about how this reminds you of or is similar to or is incredibly timely because of what is going on in the world, my life now. Keep going. So those are some ways. You could also elaborate on the importance of the question and connect it text. In general, you want to be thinking in your response to the question, have you really significantly explored why? And have you asked that a few times of your response? Have you really significantly explored how and described moments, maybe not just one moment from what you read, but a couple of moments from what you read, maybe relating that moment from what you read to something that happened earlier in the book and how it connects to that? Well, I hope that helps you get to your 300 word count today. And I also want to remind you that you are free to, and I hope that you do revise and resubmit any entries prior to today that didn't meet the 300 word count and you didn't get the full 4 points for. Also, just a side note, folks, changing your font to 52 doesn't fool me. So really try to meet the word count. Don't just increase your font. In fact, when you increase your font, you kind of just make me want to count the words. Oh, one last thing before I go. Here's how you count your words. You're going to go to tools and select everything, or you're going to select everything and then you're going to go to tools and choose word count, and it will give you the total number of words, and then you can just paste it into your digital notebook from there. So I would compose in Google Docs and then paste it into your digital notebook when you're done so that you can know your word count. That's it for this video. See you soon.